Dollar Show. It is Tuesday, August 11th, 84 days into the most important election of our lives. Today, it got a lot more real. As you know by now, Joe Biden has picked Senator Kamala Harris to be his running mate. And I've got to tell you, I'm very excited by this. I am thrilled by this. And then the choice by Joe Biden sends two messages. It sends one, the idea of how he views groups that make up our Democratic coalition. And I think second, it really says something about us, about the various minority communities that have worked really hard to make sure their voice is at the table. And Joe Biden embraced that. And that's fundamentally important. Yet I know there are some of my fellow progressives who wanted Liz Warren. I know because they call my show. They're my friends. I speak to them. And to my fellow progressives who might be disappointed by a Biden-Harris ticket, and I want to say I'm excited by this ticket. I understand your desire for progressive purity. I get it. But here's the reality. I don't have that privilege, nor do all the minority communities that Donald Trump has come after since he came down that escalator in New York City and began demonizing Latino immigrants. We simply don't have that privilege. And I can give you actual intellectual arguments. You can talk about how Progressive Punch, which rates senators and actually shows Senator Harris is slightly ahead of Senator Warren in her voting record on progressives. But if you're a progressive purist, you'll tell me, well, I don't like Senator Harris's record with criminal prosecutions when she was the AG and the prosecutor. Or I don't like that she didn't want a wealth tax. Or I don't like that she took money from billionaires and from some big pharma execs. That's all true. But here's where we are. It is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They are the people going into battle for us that we're going to work and fight for to defeat Donald Trump. I don't have the privilege to wait for purity. And for two reasons. And here they are. Number one, I'm Muslim. I might look like a white person, but I am not. I can assure you, I'm not treated like one. I'm of Palestinian heritage. And in Trump's America, who made demonizing Muslims one of the center points of his campaign, the result has been more than words from Donald Trump. It has been an onslaught and hate crimes against my community since he began during the campaign saying Islam hates us and calling for a total and complete shutdown on Muslims. We saw hate crimes literally worse during the campaign of Donald Trump than in the months and year after 9/11. That's how bad Donald Trump made it for my community. So for us, it's personal. I don't have the privilege to wait for the perfect person who will check every box of my progressive dreams. And I'm not being condescending when I say that, because I have progressive purist dreams. I would love to have the perfect candidate, both of them being perfect, check every box. Second reason I can't wait for purity is because I am a minority now. And I see the pain. I hear the pain. I feel the pain of my fellow minorities. And here's the blunt truth. Before 9/11, I was a white guy. I identified as a white guy. Regardless of my heritage, I was treated like a white guy. After 9/11, I became a minority. And while I was progressive then, and I'm progressive now, my views have not changed. When things happened to other minority groups, while it was painful to see intellectually, I didn't feel the pain. Now, as a minority, I feel the pain of my fellow minorities. So when Trump demonizes other groups, it's not just words and go, wow, that's terrible and that's sad to hear. I feel it like when it comes after my community. You know, Martin Luther King has a famous quote that I love. Everyone knows the first line in this quote. It's the second and third lines, which I find just as compelling. The first line by Martin Luther King is this: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We all know that line. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. It's the lines after that that I find so instructive. He went on to say, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And if you're a minority, I don't have to tell you that because you feel it. You know it. You know we're all intertwined, because when Donald Trump spews hate against any community, he legitimizes bigotry everywhere. When he sprinkles fertilizer on the bigots at Charlottesville. The roots grow and they don't end there because the appetite of bigots is insatiable. It might start with one group, but it continues on. That is the cancer of Trumpism. So when Donald Trump demonizes Muslims, I felt it, and I'm sure other minority communities felt it as well. The same way when Donald Trump calls Black Lives Matter, which is simply about valuing Black lives the same as white, when he calls it a symbol of hate and a Marxist organization last week, I get angry because I feel it. When Donald Trump called Black players who quietly took a knee during the national anthem sons of bitches who should be fired, I didn't respond intellectually. I felt viscerally because we are tied together. I felt it. This is when he goes through and will discriminate against the LGBT community, saying transgender Americans cannot serve in our military, and even despicably says homeless shelters can still get federal funds and openly turn away transgender homeless people because you don't want them there and still get federal funds. I feel it because we're minorities. We are all in together. When Donald Trump defends people in Charlottesville saying Jews will not replace us, and a year later there's a mass shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh, I feel it. When Donald Trump demonizes Hispanics and there's a shooting in El Paso targeting Mexicans, using the same language as Donald Trump, it's not intellectual. It's not some, that's horrible in an ambiguous way. I feel it. We feel it. If you're a minority, we feel it. Again, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. We are tied in a single garment of destiny. That's why I don't have the privilege to wait for the perfect candidate. And in fact, I'm actually excited by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I think they're a phenomenal team. I think, to be honest, today didn't just end the vice presidential selection pick. I think today ended the Trump-Pence any chance of winning this election ended today. So on my show today, we're going to talk about that in great detail. We'll take calls from people and discuss it. Again, my show is on Sirius XM channel 127, Progress, 6 and 9 p.m. Eastern time. I hope you'll check it out. We are in this together. If you're a minority, you don't need me to tell you that. If you're white and you've got privilege, I understand. I used to have that privilege too. But now it's time to check that and stand with all of us against the biggest threat we've ever faced. And from there, we will push for the progressive agenda we want. I can assure you of that. Thanks for tuning in to my preview.